nuts. Wasn't it snowing on Halloween like a year or two
A
ago?
couple of years ago, 3 years ago.
I was just saying,
That's miserable. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
That's crazy.
I mean, there were so many kids in our area,
Mhm.
it's crazy. I mean, I think we probably had 300.
Oh, wow.
At least.
we get like half a dozen.
Yeah. And then like 2 blocks later, they don't get in. So, weird. Hello there.
Hi. Hi.
No, there's nobody here.
We should be live now. It's 6 o'clock.
So we got police.
Is this for everybody?
Yep.
Did you have a sign in?
Yes, it's right there. Okay, we are live. In a few minutes.
You should be live, I mean, it's 6 o'clock.
All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. It is 6:01. Do we have any public comment? Anybody here? Any comments? Okay. So now, let's go around the table and reintroduce ourselves through the committee.
Monica Martin, Finance Director.
I'm Commander Mike Fellows, I'm with the police department.
Ruth Seaver, Green City Administrator.
Michael Smedley, Police Chief.
Third Ward Alderman Richard Nietzsche. Joe Carmichael, 8th Ward Alderman.
Ben Deesh, Assistant Finance Director.
Scott Lennon, First Ward Alderman. All right. So again, we spoke about this in the last meeting. This year's budget, I'd like to thank Monica and Ben both for just guiding us through it and keeping up with it. You had meetings started in January and monthly, and when you had to with department heads to get them on board with really looking at their budget and putting things in there. You know, so somebody's not gonna come to you and say, I need $100,000 for this in September, and it's not in their budget, so, it's good that we've done that. I think it's been a lot, maybe been painful for some of the departments, but it's been a good exercise, and I think we're on the right track, so thank you. All right, so let's get right into the police budget. Roll call.
Yes.
All right, let's get right into it.
You want me to go or you want to start? You want to go, where do you want to start?
You told me to my first go around, so whatever, any questions?
Okay,
anywhere we can-
we can start at the beginning, with the reimbursements and the revenue part. That should be good, right, Ben, for the
Yeah.
actual police department? So you see there's a little bit of just one change for the revenue department, well, a couple, it's the 120,000 for the reimbursements. Also for the revenue this year, we won't have the red light camera revenue.
Yeah.
Right, so just keep that in mind.
And that's a loss of,
Harlem and
yeah,
Sterling.
about $1 million.
Within 2 million.
Yeah. I think, everything looks the same, like if you notice for the parking tickets, the same revenue, the local ordinance and the compliance tickets, right? Michael, we should be the same. All right, so that is actually for the police department for 20. Let's go into the expenses. Michael, do you have any difference in there?
No, not based on what our conversations were, everything appears to be what we talked about.
Okay. But as for tuition reimbursement, we're on track with that. With utilities, we're on track with that. Just a little bit of a decrease. If you notice, we have added the 2025 budget line here on the, where you can see the difference.
I have a question on 4,400 grant revenue. So, the grants are
Okay.
there. So is that, we get more than that in grants, correct? Or is that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the police department is working very diligently to try to get as many grants as we can. We've got 4 or 5 so far this year, so, again, I think that's a good estimate, but we should do very well.
Okay.
on top of that.
And we've talked about that too, is capturing those grants.
Right.
Moving forward, in all departments, because then we can go back out there and say we received 2-3 million or whatever in grants.
Right, so this is just the estimate right now,
Okay.
but by hopefully the end of the year, we'll have, or prior to a little bit, beginning of December, more of a projection of
Right,
the
yeah.
grant
We
revenue.
can definitely make a projection if we
Yeah.
were to receive similar to what we got this year.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you.
With the green 2025 budget, is that supposed to be the increase, or is that, cause there's like a lot of dashes in it?
Well, if you notice, as I stated at the, for reimbursement, so there's no other fees for service insurance, all those things. There's no budget for this year,
Oh, okay,
okay?
okay.
If you notice 25 versus 24, there was, you see the negative?
That's the deficit.
Well, yes, yeah, so this year, we're not budgeting for it,
Okay,
okay?
And that doesn't necessarily mean it might come in, but we're
Okay.
just,
Right now.
conservatively, we're.
got it, so we're just kinda cutting that out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And we are still receiving some revenue from that in regards to the back tickets.
Yes.
And then with regards to the, and we may get to this in a minute, but with regards to the red light, are we just eating that as an expected loss this year, or is there some way we're trying to offset that?
As of right now, we're just gonna have to take the loss, and if something changes, we don't know about right now, but
Yeah.
all we know now is that we won't receive that revenue for the red light count.
Okay. And do we know if that's gonna extend past a year, or is that looking like?
It's usually about a year when they're doing the construction, because they do it before
Yeah.
they start and then after they deactivate it. So I don't know if it's gonna be a full year, but it really depends on the construction.
They may not let us put it up right away, anyway, we might have to do a study
Okay.
and seek IDOT approval to put them back up.
Okay.
We have 2 in town, correct? Ogden.
Ogden's
and-
not working,
Yep.
it hasn't been working in a couple of years. IDOT has not come through and given us the authorization to run.
To replace that one?
Yes, we've tried numerous times, and they won't.
So we don't have to stop there anymore. I make sure, I'm like, all right, okay.
We're at the expenses, correct?
Yes.
If you notice in telephone in-house, it went up because of the new dispatch center, so we're adding new phones there. Also with, training dues and communications, telephone sale, they're all going up via the new center that's open up, am I correct, Michael?
And that
Yeah.
with the expansion, correct.
Same with postage and printing. I think right there with postage and printing, the police department have their own postage system right now, correct?
Correct.
Which separated from city hall, so we have to add dollars in there for them to have their own postage.
Yeah.
Professional service, they're adding DACRA, if you see it went up from 185,000 to 203. And so everything that has a change, you can see from 24 to 25. So going through the budget, as I say, with the police expansion, the repairs and maintenance of the building, we have a 25% increase. We added a vehicle which came from the capital project that at first the vehicles were in. And the police department actually budgeted, 5 new vehicles per year? Am I correct? 5 to 7 new vehicles per year?
Correct, we were looking at 5.
Right. So if you see an increase in that part for vehicles, that's coming away from the capital project.
Is it still hard and delayed to get police vehicles? Because I know there was a time when it took a year or so.
There's a little bit of a gap.
There's a gap between the time we order them to the time it takes them to build them and get them in. Every now and then, we will get a company that sends us an email if they have some in stock, ready to go, and then it's just a matter of we can free the money up within a couple of weeks.
Okay.
This is for repairs and maintenance.
Yep.
Let's see, where were we? A little, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, the only ad is the body camera, so.
Yeah, the body camera, so, yeah. Little bit increase in copier maintenance, hardware stayed the same. So there's little increases via the report if you look through it, but they're not as significant as some of the other ones. I don't know if do we still wanna go line by line, or?
Maybe just the highlights?
Yeah, do the highlights.
Let's see, where were we here? Let's see. Equipment is the same. The internal service, it only went up approximately, like 200,000?
Yeah.
That's via claims and different things of that nature.
Yeah, and that's just our recent claim history that's come in so far, so we're just budgeting a conservative number for that, but that, the final dollar amount, you know, we won't be able to determine the final until as part of our audit process, the final year-end number for that. Okay.
Unused time buyback increased a little bit via, retirees, sick time and things of that nature. It's kind of an estimate, so we added that to just for coverage. Of course, everyone knows about health insurance, RMF, dental insurance, life insurance, that fluctuates year by year.
Mhm.
And we mentioned previously that for now, we're building a 15% increase. You know, our broker has been doing their best to keep our costs down, especially over the last few years. However, we should budget health insurance and dental at 15% until we get the final numbers sometime around February.
Good.
Is that reduction in salaries and wages, is that the retirement offset?
Yes,
Yeah.
it varies. So what we do is we look at people retiring and then different employees, and depending on what area. So right now, we're in the area of, I believe, this actual police department is 20, we haven't gotten to supervisors, so it could be somebody retiring in that area.
No.
Yeah.
Salaries and wages of supervisors, I'm gonna have Michael speak on that one.
Sure, so what I did in regards to salaries, I took a look at all the employees that we currently have, plus obviously, and I basically took each employee and added what the CBA required us to give them for year 2025. So that's where those come from. And I guess I'll just speak of it now, just so that everyone's aware in regards to overtime. There is some fluctuation in regards to overtime, but the amount of overtime from fiscal year 24 to fiscal year 25 stayed the same. I just, when I was putting some of the numbers together, I just fluctuated some things to between the different areas, but the total amount stayed the same.
Okay.
And I wanna add, we do receive a grant for about $367,000 for overtime.
Correct.
I just wanna
Yeah.
note that.
Okay, is that for the checkpoints?
Correct, that's our step.
Yeah.
And actually, I believe I just got the other day notification, it's not, but they're asking for a little more than that too.
Yeah,
it should
so
be-
we do receive a grant to cover some of the overtime as well.
Correct.
So what does that mean, that dash out of class?
So out of class pay is, on the supervisor's line item is, when we have 3 watch commanders, 1 for each shift. The watch commanders are paid a set salary. When they are off or on vacation or take benefit time, a supervisor, based upon their seniority or the second in command, then steps in as a watch commander, and then we pay them a differential rate as they act as a watch commander.
Got it, okay. And why did that decrease this time?
I just, like I said, when I was going through everything for 24, I just took a look at everything and we reduced a little bit to try to help out because we didn't spend as much as we did this
Right.
year.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
And that was with the specialty. So we're here, if everything is fine, we're gonna go to the officers. Department 57, Michael.
Yep.
And we have a little bit of $1 million increase in that line item,
Correct. In the officers or specialties?
in the officers. In the officers. And 5,000.
No specialty.
Specialty.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Specialty is a reduction.
Yeah, so, so compared to office. Okay, so, but there's a decrease in
Right.
specialty. So what happens in regards to those different sections is, I move them around, so when an officer is hired, just as a regular patrol officer that you see on the street, that's technically what an officer is. They move up into a specialty when they achieve some type of a certification. So it's basically just offsetting their different titles.
Okay, okay. And we try to make sure that, and I've been and myself, we've really been going through the titles and everything to make
Yeah.
sure that they're in line.
Right.
So that when they need to move around, that the salaries and the hourly rates matches.
Move.
Yep.
Good.
Where are we now?
So that's the sworn part, sworn officer part. The rest is, the company pages are civilian.
Right, let's go, so auxiliary, right?
Correct.
Our auxiliary, so roundabout, it's went increased just a little bit due to, we hired a few more auxiliary, am I correct?
Yeah, we're looking to hire a few more auxiliary and obviously the details and stuff, but some of that's similar to the reimbursement, and we do get some of that.
Okay. That's the only thing that I see for auxiliary, excuse me, that kind of increased a little bit, because they don't have the breakdown of the non-personnel, they just basically have the personnel, like the radio operators, and all of that is combined under auxiliary.
Good.
It's the same with the, community service officers, it's the fluctuation of the increase of, the officers. And then when we go over to my favorite, the crossing guards.
My favorite.
That's where it is.
My favorite is the crossing guards. The crossing guards, we increased about 25, right, Michael, from like 25 to 50?
We're just shy of, I believe, 30,
Some-
and we're asking for 25 more.
20, so about 55 or something like that. So if you see that large $200,000 increase in crossing guards, that's the reason why we increased the crossing guards.
Okay.
It's been a want of a particular, for a long time. Yes. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? I think we're good.
Any questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're gonna move on to the building department. Chuck Lazar could not make it, he's ill today, so Monica's gonna go through that with us.
Yeah.
Here's, you only was able to make 6 copies of, there.
It's short and sweet.
Yes. That's great. Here, just know that.
You guys can hit the road if you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll stop that back from you.
John, don't worry, they're having you.
Oh, okay.
I'm leaving.
Don't got any input about the building department?
No,
He stays in his lane, right?
I'm staying right in my lane, I got enough headaches.
While you're here, how far along are we, on the police department? We're getting a truck?
No.
They're putting floors in today, so we're gonna have the new payment window and everything should be done by the end of this week. Then we're gonna relocate the IT people into the new social worker area. Social workers are gonna continue to work out upstairs, and then we have to move records people and everybody through into another section of the department so we can tie in the new dispatch center to the building, and so we're coming along.
Good, that's good.
But yeah, the new payment window should be open by next week, I think,
Okay.
maybe 2 weeks.
That's where that wall is right there?
They got it all framed up, they should have the glass in it by the end of the week.
Cool, good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so now, building department.
You just wanna go right in? Okay, with the building department, the first thing I wanna know is that you see an increase in the salaries and wages, and that's via the seasonal people that we hire. So we have, and then a couple of new inspectors, I believe, in construction, a construction manager and a permit manager. But mostly there are part-time seasonal people that come during the summertime to help us out with a lot of the, things that happen in the summer. So that's the large increase right there for the salaries and wages. Also, you'll see an increase in stipends via the contract. The stipends went up in the contract. So the amount went from $100, I believe, to $250, bilingual stipend, if I'm correct in saying that, yeah.
Oh, that was part of the contract.
Yeah, that was per their contract, it wasn't from us, it was from the contract. Also, in his office supply, the office supplies decreased. If you notice, he had a decrease in his office supplies from, 18,000 to 10,000, because we noticed that during the year, he wasn't using that much in office supplies, so we decreased it down to 10,000. Postage and printing stayed the same. We also, decreased, other general expenses, because there wasn't being much use right there. We did have a increase in other general expenses, pest control, due to the rat abatement that we're trying to incorporate. So that's whether you saw the large increase there from 75,000 to 125,000.
Do you know offhand why the adopted budget for the, general expenses last year jumped from like 1,000, 2,000 to 23,000?
For the adopted
Yeah.
budget there,
Yeah,
it's possible that we could, when we're producing the draft, that we incorporated the pest control.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Into that
Gotcha.
number as
Okay.
well.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's see, for repairs and maintenance, you notice it went up from 175 to 275. Reason being, we have a clerk office renovation, we have a collector's office renovation. We also have, trying to keep up with the historical trends of the buildings, so we incorporated money in there for overall renovations for the whole building, and a little bit from other departments as well, okay? For the lease expense, we are adding, because we added different managers, we were asking or adding, or he is, 2 additional vehicles, which is just putting out there on the table once we see how we are with the budget, because of the different managers that he added.
And those are leased?
They are leased, yes. If you notice, they are, $675 per car for 2 cars, which makes it about $1,360 per month for 12 months. And the internal service fund, just a little bit, 3,000 for additional claims that we may need. Other than that, we have no additional increases or decreases within the building department. Any questions?
No.
Any concerns?
No,
No, we're good.
very straightforward.
All right, so new business, we'll go to that. So we're having a meeting on Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Yes,
And that's gonna be the library and public works.
yes,
So there's probably a lot of moving parts in both of those, especially public works.
yes.
And I just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, aye? All right,
Thank you.
thank you all.
Thank you.
And let's do that.
Okay.
All right, great, thank you.
But yeah, it was Halloween weekend.
Yeah.
Good.
I miss all the decorations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're gonna like it.
I do.
Yes.
I'm ready to start
Such a
looking
nice
at
Yeah,
job.
we're trying. Are you gonna do the back?
Do you need these back?